After 45 years, Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple, has started a new company called Efforce to democratize and finance energy efficiency investments worldwide. Is this about to become the next Apple? How we doing, coin traders, crypto friends, everybody? Looking at a new one today, Efforce. I think it's Efforce because it's EFF like efficiency. That's what we're gonna roll with. It might be Efforce or Efforce, I don't know. But yeah, Efforce. WOZX on the ticker. Kind of interesting. Wozniak X, something like that. But yeah, overall, rank number 250 on CoinMarketCap, sitting around just under $70 million. Current price point 286. Been falling a little bit. Only been offered on some of the, on two exchanges here for a couple of days. Looking at the market pairs, HBTC and Uniswap. So those are our main two things, and 0x as well. So definitely not a whole lot of opportunity to buy this just yet. But if you are interested, then head on over to HBTC because they've got it for the tether pair there. It's actually still so new yet that it's not even on really any of the trading platforms. So if we look at WOZX, pretty much all we have is the wrapped ether version. And overall, yeah, not a whole lot to look at. We can break this down daily still. So not a whole lot of comparison since we are based off of the wrapped Ethereum pairing. Now, however, if we do head over to HBTC, there is a little API using TradingView here, and obviously we can see the chart from their exchange. So we're going to be using this for the duration of the video today, since it's pretty much the best charting tool and platform that we can use right now to look at this crypto in terms of the chart. Mostly going to be looking at the news and a lot of those other things on the show today. So if that all sounds good and you're ready to talk about Efforce, smash that free like button. Let's get into Efforce. Alright, so heading into the website, Efforce.io. Nice website setup so far. Got a lot of fancy stuff. We're talking about this crypto today, the revolutionary platform aiming at increasing energy efficiency by allowing everyone to participate and benefit from worldwide energy efficiency projects. Link to the white paper is published on their main website. Nice little link for it. So click on it, read all about it. Now, the first half is pretty much all about energy and stuff like that, but the second half does get into a lot more of the nitty-gritty about the use case that they're actually trying to attract and what their vision is. Efforce is the first blockchain-based platform that connects the demand and supply of energy efficiency investments. Through Efforce, anyone wishing to attract investments to make energy improvements to their buildings or industrial processes can easily do so by registering their request on the platform. The Efforce team will validate the request and develop together with the company the Energy Efficiency Improvement Project, evaluating the necessary investment, the annual internal rate of return, the IRR, and thus concluding the energy performance contract, the EPC. So from the company's perspective, what happens if they want to do things to increase efficiency, like say, for example, replace the lighting system, insulate the walls and roof, or improve the heating and cooling system to make it suitable for the needs of the building, exploiting and recovering as much as possible the heat cycle generated by the production process itself, yada, yada, yada. Well, what if the company doesn't have the resources needed to actually accomplish this? So, for example, the financial resources, the technical knowledge, etc., etc. With that, to overcome these problems, let me introduce you to the world of Efforce. With Efforce, you can look for the necessary crowdfunding to proceed with the energy redeveloped projects, in exchange for sharing the savings generated. All those wishing to invest in energy efficiency projects through a secure and decentralized blockchain-based system will also have access to Efforce. The role of the blockchain is fundamental since it guarantees the integrity and uniqueness of the energy-saving data obtained. The data that each smart meter will transmit will be validated and certified by the blockchain so as to be able to unequivocally guarantee the savings obtained at a certain point in time, and therefore the quantity of the kilowatt hours saved in which will be loaded on the user profile of the contributor. The energy savings of each contributor will be tokenized and can be used both to offset energy consumption and to be traded. So let's look at it a little bit deeper, talk about what it is, what it needs. So essentially, Efforce is composed of three different parts: the contributors, the companies, and the blockchain. The contributors can participate in energy efficiency projects by acquiring tokenized future savings. Think of these as a lot of your investors for the token. Companies benefit from energy efficiency improvements at no cost, and the resulting savings are written in real time on the blockchain. A smart contract redistributes the resulting savings to token holders and the companies without intermediaries based on exact consumption savings data. So essentially, picture this as like a stock, if you will, and the energy savings are going to be distributed to the contributors or the token holders, kind of like how they are to stocks, for example. Let's keep going. Efforce is a marketplace that enables companies to undertake energy efficiency measures at no cost so that they can invest their liquidity in more critical tasks. With Efforce, for the first time, the energy efficiency market is accessible to large and small investors alike, regardless of borders, who can then monetize the transferable energy savings. I just figured I'd make this highlight here green since we're talking about energy. Currently, financing energy efficiency measures can be a complex mix of financial and regulatory challenges that limit the speed of growth. Efforce uses an innovative web-based platform to leverage the blockchain and tokens called the WOZX as the mechanisms to create a seamless platform to spur global energy efficiency. So it seems like a pretty fun and unique use case so far. We did mention that it's a marketplace. I imagine this is kind of what they expect their marketplace to look like. I assume this is kind of the prototype, and that's why it's on the page here. But yeah, so pretty much picture like the ability of companies to be able to be more energy efficient and kind of allow other investors to be able to fund that. Meanwhile, those investors get that dividend back, and then ultimately the company gets to be more energy efficient. Efforce is going to securitize those energy savings. So basically with Efforce, those energy savings of a third party are tokenized and then they can be used by anyone. We did talk about Steve Wozniak being pretty much the face of Efforce so far, obviously being one of the co-founders along with the rest of the team. Team does look pretty good so far. Haven't got a chance to do a deep dive into any of their bios yet, but they do look like a bunch of nerds, except for Stefano. As far as timeline goes, we are kind of almost at the end of the roadmap, so that's definitely a good sign. We did have our listing on HBTC. Check that off the list. Now, next we're looking at Q2 2021, so probably about April or so next year in 2021. We'll be looking at the first efficiency project completed and beginning of energy efficiency sharing. I imagine it to pretty much grow and snowball from here. So yeah, almost at the finish line here where we can actually see this thing take off and be of benefit. Scooting on over to Twitter now, looking at Efforce. They got 20.1 thousand followers right now, so they got more than me, so that's cool. Highlighting with their tagline, the first blockchain-based platform which allows anyone to access tokenized energy savings worldwide. Obviously a very new project, so a lot of good bullish news so far, but pretty much it's just about it launching, being offered on the exchanges, offering it to the world, saying it's in existence now. Steve Wozniak's part of the team, yada, yada, yada. Definitely all good signs, though. Still a lot of great things. So we're going to keep our eye on this Twitter feed and see what comes from here. One of the things that I'm not the biggest fan of, and it's not even that big of a deal, but I'm not the biggest fan of the fact that it's launched on Ethereum. I just think that anytime we're looking at projects that rely on something else, it's not as strong as if it is independent. And that pretty much is across the board no matter what it is, even if it's a non-blockchain based company. If it has to rely that much on something else and kind of its survivability is based on something else like that, then pretty much like it loses a lot of strength on its own, in my opinion. Because, for example, like if Ethereum just failed to exist, then essentially Efforce now would fail to exist. Definitely not trying to say, again, that it's not that strong of a project or anything on Ethereum is actually not that good. I'm just saying that I don't think it's as strong when it has to rely on something else. Let me know your thoughts about that and if you agree or disagree with me in the comments section below. Gonna start talking about the important part now, the WOZX, or the WOZX token. So we have mentioned that essentially what this is it provides the opportunity to profit and share from a lot of those energy savings that have been kind of crowdfunded by the overall contributors for the project. It's been a good listing so far. Once it did launch, we're looking at essentially over 2,100% of a return so far. We are on the 4-hour chart. If we switch over to the daily right now, then geez, we're looking at an insane move. Just in a matter of like a week, I think this ends up being. Oh, so we're looking at like almost the 2-week here. Pretty crazy. So yeah, definitely overall the tokenomics are going to be something we're going to dive into here. Huge move to the upside. This is insane. Got a lot of good volume as well. I don't think there's a lot of selling pressure just yet. I think we're going to let this hit the market a little bit more, but probably before we start seeing a lot of selling pressure and profit taking from just such huge moves to the upside right now. I actually am kind of a fan of the tokenomics overall, though, and right now we are looking at a total supply of 1 billion. Current circulating supply is about 22 million. Now, they did say that they wanted to release about 25% in the first year, and then immediately following, it's going to basically take about 10 years to release the full amount. So even as you can see on their website that the max amount is going to be 1 billion tokens, emission rate. New tokens will never be created. So we are going to see that max of 1 billion released over the next 10 years. So a pretty slow and gradual release after we look at that initial 25%. So current market cap for WOZX is just under that 70 million mark, but we are gunning for Wozniak's first venture, Apple, which is currently at a market cap of more than 2 trillion. So let's see if we can top it. Just to kind of put things into perspective a little bit, even with a max supply of 1 billion tokens, if we do hit that 2 trillion mark like Apple's at right now, that would put the price of each WOZX token at $2,000. Yeah, so overall, I think if you are into energy saving and all of that type of stuff, I think this could be a very good double-dipping project to get into, both with crypto blockchain and with energy saving. So it might be something to definitely check out and look at here in the future, especially for a long-term hold to profit from some of those energy saving benefits. That is going to wrap it up for the show today, though. Hope you all enjoyed learning about Efforce. And if you did enjoy the show, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Post all your questions, comments, or disagreements below in the chat section, and I'll get back to you. Thanks again, as always, for tuning in and all the love and support. Take care, everyone. I'll see you back in the next video.